Okay, so we are back, and yeah, as you can see, it's a bit colder than it's been a lot of the other times, but we are still very glad to be here. And the reason is that we've got a new format of stuff from Majestic. They had a bit of a rethink and some focus groups around what they're going to do with their wine club, their concierge. I think it's just now called the wine club, and it's a lot better, I must admit. The first case is called Discover Hidden Gems of France, and that is what it has delivered. And I will show you what form that came in. Well, the first one, and the reason I'm doing this now quickly, is because this Gerard Bertrand is one of them. It's, notice, a screw top. We love screw tops, as you know. But this is a famous rugby player who's very well known in that region, and we're going to start with that one because it is pretty fantastic. You know, when I see, there is nothing in this case that I haven't really enjoyed. There is nothing in this case that is going to make wine with pears in wine or beef bourguignon. It's all going to be drunk, which is great. This is fantastic, spicy Pizay. Pizay has some amazing wines. It has some god-awful wines, like every region can, but you know, lovely. Right, but so in this little box we have Chateau Timbelay, which is a really nice. I opened this yesterday, a little bit of video on it because it will need some time to breathe. Some of these wines do need a bit of time to breathe, so let's get them out anyway because it's a lot more interesting to talk about. So number one that I got out yesterday to breathe is the Cote du Rhone, and I must admit I had a little bit more of that than I probably should have as a taster. There's nothing wrong with that, as we know, and we have the Chateau Timbelay. Now, I shall show you. That's what that is. Two of the wines come wrapped, which is the Timbelay and the Bouachon Cote de Rhone, and I will open those separately. And we also have the Terroir, the high altitude Malbec. We also have a cheeky little Beaujolais, so close to Beaujolais Nouveau time. I so enjoyed that. And we have the final La Garrigue, which I haven't opened yet, and we are going to have to try. So, with that said, I suppose we're going to have to get to it. So, what has changed? Well, a few things have changed. The format's changed a bit, and I would say all the wines are amazing. I mean, that's the first thing. Let's get that out of the way from the very start. This Beaujolais Nouveau, outstanding. I mean, I really enjoyed that. And the Fortant Malbec, really enjoyed that. These, they didn't really need any introductions other than opening. But I suppose let's start. So we've got this lovely booklet, and I say let's start because I've had various ways of sort of getting on with this and starting it, and I don't know. I mean, I really do. I'm so enthused with what they've done. I know this sounds a bit sort of cheesy, but this is both a white and a red sort of taster case. It's got an introduction from their Masters of Wine, which I like. My heart fell when it's talked about food matching. It's like, really? Oh, you know, food matching, I get it. It was a thing. So I'm going to read these notes rather than go through Vivino, unless we need to go to Vivino, but let's see. So yeah, aromas: red plum, strawberry, raspberry, red cherry. Primary flavors: sour cherry. Yep, there was definitely sour cherry. It was nice. Red currant, earth. We'll get onto that in a minute. The Cote du Rhone is where I want to start. Now, last night when I tried this, it had a lovely licorice umami. Yes, I will drive a long way for a wine with a licorice umami. and that still has it. Look at the, I mean, this is just, so the other thing is, I don't know whether they're just pandering to what, you know, silly old wine drinkers say, but every single one of these wines, light does not pass through. Whether it's the 2020, or I think the oldest is a 2018. Yep, they're all pretty young wines, but look at that. Oh. Not that age has an indication of colour, but you know, they're all just really, really nice wines. So this is supposed to have spice. I suppose that's the licorice that I'm picking up. You can obviously pick up any spice that you prefer. Very dry. I don't feel this as being as dry as they say. They say it's bone dry, but it is very, very nice indeed. And I will try and put in some of the images from this book, because it's just beautifully produced, apart from the fact that you have to have this with a chicken tray bake with chorizo, which, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's very nice, chicken and chorizo. But what I wanted to get to was the Bordeaux, which, wow, it's definitely, all the blackberry, they've gone overboard with the fruit descriptions, and I get why. It just, the red fruit, strawberry, blackberry, plum, they'll just, bam, they hit you. Wonderful wine. So this is just, I mean, I don't know how to, let me see if it will focus on that, not with my face there. But yeah, I mean, that is just absolutely lovely. So let's hope it goes back to the face. Ah, I've got a Sony up here and a Nikon up there. If we do not have things in focus today, we will never have things in focus. That's the way it goes. Right, so we're going to try the Bordeaux, the Chateau Timberlake. And I'm going to try and pour a little bit less because we want to rattle through these. And just look at that. That is just a stunning wine. Now this says it's got smoke and cedar, and it has. Interesting, the cedar. Yeah, it's definitely, do you know what? When I opened this yesterday, it definitely needed to breathe. And I've left it overnight, which is a long breathing cycle, as you should know. But wow, that I am enjoying. Proper cork on the Timberlake. Do you know what? I prefer the Cote de Rhone so far. But that is not at all disappointing. But I was expecting, when I sort of, you know, when you get a Bordeaux and it's just really sort of needs to breathe, you kind of hope that after it's breathed, it will be different to what it is. But there we go, such is life. So we are now going to open. I've had the Malbec. Now the Malbec is a big wine. It is what I would definitely call a knife and fork wine. And it's from a very high altitude, which is absolutely lovely. I'm not going to open it now because I'm about to open on a Tuesday night 4 wines, and I know what happens if I open them all. But it basically was lots of licorice. Is actually one of the primary flavours, which is probably why I liked it so much. But it was a very, very big wine. There's a lot of spice. That's a kind of wine that you needed a big, I mean, you know I don't like pairing foods, but you needed a big meal to be able to digest that. We've been through the Bertrand, Timberlake. We've now got to open the Garrigue. I'll quickly jump to the Beaujolais. That Beaujolais was absolutely amazing. I mean, I absolutely love this Beaujolais. Fruit, lots of fruit. I mean, basically all the primary and secondary flavours are fruit. Yeah, I mean, that's what a Beaujolais should be. I mistakenly thought it was a Beaujolais Nouveau. My mental calendar is not what it used to be. But we are going to get to the Garrigue, and I don't need this because we have another screw top. So, okay. This is the least bold you can shine a little bit of light through that. Oh, very pleasant. It's a bit light for my liking, but it is a very fine wine. This is possibly the least favourite of all of these. So what have we got? Dried herbs, both primary and second, whether primary flavours and aromas. Red currant. It's not bad. That is a very drinkable wine, but it's not up with the rest of them. So I am going to, just for you, I'm going to open the other two wines because they're just so worth it. They're like a L'Oreal advert. It's definitely, the dried herbs are definitely there, and the pepper is definitely there. We are going to open the Fortant. Which shall I open first? The Beaujolais or the Fortant? Hard to know. We're going to open the Fortant. This is such a wine. I mean, this is really such a wine. Even it's probably the best cork of all of them. I'm a noisy person when I'm drinking. I'm just a noisy person in general. Don't want to get a drip on the book. Look at that. That is just beautiful. It really is just beautiful. Yep. Oh. Let's go to the... Can we get it in on the fruit side? We can on the wine side. So this wine is the last one I'll turn to, of course. Is it after this one, the Garrigue? It is. So this definitely has the licorice, the spice, the black fruits. It is absolutely lovely. You cannot fault this wine. It is absolutely gorgeous. It comes from vineyards, very high vineyards, and it's got that thing, the French won't like me saying this, but it's got that, I like high altitude wines. And the ones, I mean, I love, some of the Riojas are quite high relatively, but the really, really high ones that I know that I really love are from Argentina. And, you know, some of the old world get upset about things of the new world being wonderful, but they are just amazing. They are. And the way these are kept, the skins and the juice together, it's just a wonderful wine. That, and I'm not a big Malbec fan, but that is absolutely lovely. But I don't want to waste too much time on that because I want to get to the Beaujolais. This actually made me, you know, like the scene in Ratatouille. I was expecting so little of this wine. And you know when he's transported back to his mother's, off it goes, he's transported back to his mother's Ratatouille. This transported me back to my days as a student when we used to have Beaujolais. Okay, we didn't have Beaujolais Nouveau parties. That sounds very, very wrong. But I used to go to some parties and the annoying wine people in my group would take Beaujolais Nouveau when it was that time in November. And I got very excited. I suddenly thought, God, it's Beaujolais Nouveau time. Oh, I tell you, pour yourself a glass of this and see the world become instantly more colourful. It is just wonderful. It's a sour cherry, red cherry, strawberry, red plum. It's everything, earth. It is. Wines like this just make you happy. It's a 2020 Beaujolais. I don't know how expensive it is, but this whole box is 12 for £100. I was late to get an upgrade, and I'm glad I didn't get an upgrade because it is just absolutely wonderful. And what is amazing, because I spend a lot of money and a lot of time trying to get Bordeaux, and the Bordeaux has not impressed me anywhere near as much as... I am a bit of a sucker. I've had some lovely Pays d'Oc, and that is a lovely Pays d'Oc. I've had some lovely Beaujolais, and that is a lovely Beaujolais. The Cote de Rhone just takes me back. My favourite is the Cote. This takes me back to drinking Jaboulet, Hermitage. It is just, look at that. Oh, that is the standout wine of this box, followed by, believe it or not, the Beaujolais and the Fortant. It's a close second and third. They're both a second. They are, but I have to say, the Fortant is just so big, you have to be careful. You have to go light on it. That Beaujolais you could drink all day long. And then it's the Timberlake, then it's the Bertrand. Absolutely lovely wine, screw top. I mean, and I can let you know, this is my last bottle of this, so that probably gives you an indication of how much I liked it. Not just the fact that I didn't have a bottle opener. I did. And then the Garrigue is possibly the only wine that hasn't quite, but let's go back to it. It's a shame to waste this Cote de Rhone. Wow, I mean, this, okay, so have a look at Maison Bouachon. They have a history, and it's clear. It is so clear, absolutely clear. Let's try the Garrigue. Oh, that is fantastic. That is honestly not a bad wine, but it is outshone, for me, a big wine lover, a lover of big wines in this company. But what a case. I mean, what an absolute stonker. Majestic, if you carry on producing wine club cases like this, I mean, so if I go in, one of the things that happens in wine, as you know, is you become a fan of a certain wine, and then you go into your local store and they don't have your wine. And so you're lost. And the smaller your pool of wines that you like, the more bored you get and the more disappointed you get. And now, if I go into Majestic and they don't have my usual Spanish collection, which, you know, has been the case through COVID, I can go over here, and if the next one's Italian, this is what it should be all about. This is what I fed back to them, that the wine club should be about. And I love that, obviously myself and other people have fed back that, you know, I want to be wowed. I want to have wines that make me want to explore. I want to go back to Cote de Rhone now. I want to go and explore more Pays d'Oc. I've always wanted to explore more Pays d'Oc. This gives me an excuse now. I am so going back to explore the Fortant. I'm gonna Beaujolais Nouveau is gonna be on my list again. And do you know what? I'm gonna try the Timberlake again. The Justin Timberlake. Someone's gonna be so disappointed. I called it a Justin Timberlake, but it's meant with all the right intentions. I was gonna lick that, but it has been in my shed, and who knows what's been in my shed over the summer. Well, actually, yeah. That is so clean after the Garrigue. It's definitely a superior, but that is such a good wine as well. I'm so impressed. I really am. I am wonderfully, wonderfully impressed, Majestic. You have knocked this case out of the park. I don't care what anyone else says. You have knocked this case out of the park. I am massively impressed. Almost as impressed as the person who's going to get gifted a bottle of Garrigue. I wouldn't do such a thing. But anyway, that I hope you liked. I'm going to try and put a bit more B-roll and stuff. There is something I've been wanting to do in these videos now for 2 years and I haven't done. But I think it needs daylight, because I did a test in low light and it really didn't work, because the camera I need to use needs a high frame rate and it ain't good in low light anyway, so with a high frame rate it's even worse. But hopefully that will be in this video. If not, it's going to be in the next video. I've got so much wine, I'm in trouble. In my house, literally, there is wine everywhere. Yeah, but let's hope I can get this video out quickly. Let's hope the Sony ZV-1 has performed in low light. I can't see the little box around my face, but that doesn't mean it hasn't done anything. What I do know is that when the Z50 is on form, it is bang on form, and this Sigma 18 to 35 1.8, I mean, I could actually just watch this video. It is so nice. I love this thing. Anyway, that's enough from me rambling on. Let's get this video out and let's move on to the next one. And I have some wine to drink. One of life's great pleasures is on a Tuesday evening having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles of wine open, 3 in the fridge. I have 8 bottles of wine open. Life is good. See you in the next one.